Today, we're reframing how you think about content creation. I'm joined by Randall Denton, creative director in the insurance space, who's grown his Instagram to over 100K followers, is helping creators and brand achieve real business outcomes. So get ready for both mindset shifts and actionable steps. Randall, thanks for joining me, man.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
you.
having me, brother. It's an
Yes,
honor. I
sir.
appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Let's get this conversation going. So in the beginning, I just like to help people with a mental reframe of what it is that we're talking about. So what is the number one misconception that keeps talented people, from ever hitting post or even creating content for the first time?
I would think that their content has to be perfect. I
Mm,
think there's a perspective that people think that you have to have all the bells and whistles before you start. And literally just turning around the camera and recording, you might be underestimating your story or your message, but it's as simple as that.
yeah. So that's good. So do not wait for the perfect time. I like to say it this way that nothing we ever do is ever going to be perfect.
Mm,
We are not perfect humans. We are imperfect beings created by a perfect God, but we are imperfect. And so, therefore, anything we create, touch would never be perfect. So, if you are waiting for this perfect time, it's never coming.
no, never.
You're going to be waiting for forever. So, you might as well get going now because you get better as you go. I've been creating content really intentionally for the last really 2 years, intentionally.
Same. Same.
Yeah, and so it's grown me a lot as a person, as an individual, as a business owner, and so just created content, and people often look at like content about fame and metrics, but from your perspective in the insurance world, how should a business owner actually define what a successful post is?
Well, I think you really do have to narrow it down to like what your goal is first before you post, because I
Right.
know a lot of people in the insurance space, but most entrepreneurs probably, if they're just getting into content creation, then most of their number one goal is either lead generation or monetization.
Mm,
They're just looking at it from the money perspective, but building your personal brand and online presence opens up so many different doors, so many different partnerships. A bigger opportunity at referrals, and it's so much deeper than monetization. So I think
right.
like if they can just switch their mindset from just money,
Mhm.
I think it'll make that process a lot easier.
Right. And I think that's why it's cool that I'm a part of Omar El Tokuri's coaching program. And what he says is that if you are a business owner that doesn't have to necessarily worry about money, creating content becomes easy because then you're not creating from a place of, oh, I need this to turn into some monetary value. You're
Right.
just putting out information and value for people to gain, not necessarily thinking that, oh, if I do this post, it's going to bring me X amount of clients or it's going to bring me X amount of money. And so that's good. That's good. Not worrying about the lead generation aspect of it or the monetary value that it returns back to you. But I see content creation as part of a bigger frame of brand, of building your brand. And I define brand as what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's what brand is.
Exactly.
Are you a family owned business? Are you on time? Are you good at what you do? Do you have a clean space? That's what brand is, what people attribute to your business. And but you could change people's concepts and what they think about you by doing what is called branding. It is the action, putting action towards your brand. So this is what I want people to think about my brand. So I'm going to put X amount of value into content by doing these videos for people to really understand my brand. And then over time, people are going to say, based off of the type of content that you put, people are going to realize that, okay, this is the brand that you've actually built you
Exactly.
know yeah.
No, I
So
agree.
yeah, for sure. So when you work and work people down, especially even in the insurance agency that you work for, I know that you like to create relatable content, things
Yes.
that make people laugh, funny on social. I've seen some of the content that you've created, you know, you and your wife, or just you, or even the owner of the insurance company
Yeah.
as well. And then you have this, what, three Samoan friends. You guys do
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff together. So it's relatable, you know, and gets people cracking up. So if someone is in a, you know, what they call like a boring industry, you know, what are the 3 to 5 step framework, or how many steps you got, you know, to see, for them to see if their content is actually going to convert?
I would say that, you know, if you're in a business space that isn't, considered sexy or,
Hmm.
fancy,
Yeah.
then you like this is the perfect time to create content that's outside of that specific niche. And we're in an interest-based media era right now where you can create content around your interests instead of just diving deep on what you do. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to be niche specific or speak about your profession, you just have to have a very strong hook, a captivating hook. You have to cut the dead space. Like you got to get straight to the point, give people what they came for, and deliver that value. But
Mm.
outside of that, to grab people's attention on these platforms that they're coming to for entertainment,
Hmm.
that's what I lead with is relatability. So with your interests, that's how you can relate with people, connect, build trust, so that whenever you do pitch your niche or something like insurance that isn't interesting, people need insurance. People are always going to
Right.
need insurance, but it's a timing thing. They're not going to buy every post these insurance agents make. It's not going to instantly convert. So we say to stay top of mind so that when they're ready, they've
Hmm.
already seen your content, they've related to you, they've built trust, they know exactly who to think of when they're ready to buy.
Mm. Okay. So you're saying that don't think about posting content today and expect a lead tomorrow. I mean, that
Hmm.
could happen. You know,
It
that
can.
happens for people.
Yeah.
But in the long form, you're saying build trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think
And
that's the most important thing right now because there's so many different people trying to sell you stuff. Ads everywhere, ads popping up on all platforms. Even these AI platforms are integrating apps or ads now. So there's just it's we're living in the trust recession. I know that word, that term gets thrown around, but it's the truth.
yeah,
And I think through our content, people buy from people.
right.
So why not just share who you are, what you care about, the things you love, and then sprinkle in what you do. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great formula to building your personal brand, but also generating business.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because personal brand should be personal to you. It should be part of like your lived experiences, what you do, who you are. How do you say something? Because information is out there.
Yep.
AI as, you know, cut through. Like you could literally take your phone and search anything and you get answers. Information
Yeah.
is out there. Now, what people are paying for isn't just the information, is how you package it to them.
Yep.
The step by step process. Because just because they have information doesn't mean they have the step by step on how to do X, Y, and Z. Right. So now when you're building your personal brand, it should be personal to you. It should be from your lived experiences, and it should also be from your passions, who you are, and the things that you've done in life, you know, and that helps build your business. And that was one of the reasons I got into like building my personal brand, was because I have a business, I have a video production company. And so back in the day, all I would do was just post client work. But client work isn't helping me build my personal brand. Like it's part of the strategy, you know, but your personal brand is something that comes from within. You know,
Mhm.
what comes from within me, of a framework of something that I have to say that comes from my mind. And eventually I help people shift their perspective. This is something that Neil Dingra talks about with short
Mhm.
form content, is don't just post short form content, but help people change their perspective when it comes to short form content. So with relatability, why do you go with the relatable content first?
Because I feel like most people online are looking to connect. It's
Mm.
an easy way to connect to people. I make a lot of Raider based content. I'm a big football nerd, so Raiders are my favorite football team, and I go to the Raider games out here in Las Vegas. And because I've made these videos, these people see me and they feel like they already know me, and I've never
Mm.
even met them. But it's because of the common ground, the relatability, that familiar spot. And I think with relatable content, it cuts through the noise, and some people feel seen through that
Mm.
relatability. So even with like content with my wife,
Yeah.
that's the best example because so many couples they know these same type of stereotypes that most couples or married couples go through. And when you share something that's funny or humorous in a relatable way, it just instant connection. It's like, oh my God, my wife did that yesterday, bro. I feel you, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel relatability is it's the fastest way to even grow online because
Yeah.
to me, relatability equals shareability. So if you
Mm.
got something that's relatable, people want to share it with somebody they're thinking of that they know will relate to it. And
Okay.
it's been the key to my growth, to be honest.
Yeah, and also because I think it makes sense because also most people that are on social, they're doom scrolling. They're there to be entertained. They're there to, like, oh, I want to laugh. I want to take a little break from work and just laugh or whatever, right? And you are competing as a business owner. You're competing with entertainers and athletes and stars on those social platforms. So now, how does this translate, from being relatable to business outcomes? Like you help, generate referrals through social media. Walk us through that. How does a video on Instagram turn into like someone signing an insurance policy or even turn into a lead?
For us, it's staying top of mind. So we do that Gary V formula where it's give, 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 and then ask. So we do a few humor videos. Then we'll also do maybe an educational video, just educating about the insurance industry, maybe certain coverages. And then we have videos where we flat out ask, hit us up for a quote.
Mm.
Our team, we're active on our stories. Everybody here, they pretty much they use their personal brands, their personal pages. To connect with others to build personal referrals, and personal referrals have been what we use to generate these leads and these quotes. So after we're done telling, working with somebody, we get testimonies. If we save them some money, we can share those testimonies as a way to generate more leads. Google reviews, we use those as a way to generate more leads. But it's really that formula. It's giving, 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 so that when they're ready, because it's a timing game with us, they'll think of us because we're top of mind. We're showing up
Mm.
on our stories, we're showing up on our page, and they know what we do. And that's
Yeah.
important. I think if you're an insurance, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, that's probably your primary goal is to let people know what you do. So I don't think most people struggle with that part. I think they struggle with the other side is creating content that's relatable. And I think it's a great formula to pair. So give, 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 and then ask.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question after this.
Yes, sir.
So basically, you're taking relatable items and you're turning it into content for people. Like jobs that seem to be boring, insurance, accounting, law, stuff like that, where people don't really understand what's truly going on, but you're finding a way to tell people that okay, I enjoy that. And someone that does that really well is Cody Sanchez. So she has businesses in all different industries, and one of her business that she's a partner in is called Pinks. So it's
Yeah.
a window washing company, and window washing, like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
But they are really top of mind because of the strategy that they use on their content. They take the sexy into window washing, and so that's cool, to see that that also works in multiple types of industry. So the question I have is, I have a video production company, right? You've seen some of my content that I post. How would I go about creating relatable content to help drive business to my video production company?
I think to think of the most common situations that you go through as a business owner, and those stories you would be surprised how relatable they are.
Mm.
So give me an example of like what's a common maybe a hurdle or a challenge that you have with customers.
Is understanding the type of video they want to shoot.
So they're always confused, kind of like they're
Right.
they're all over the place. They're not clear about their direction, right?
Yeah.
So maybe illustrating that in a humorous way. You can find a sound of somebody being confused, or maybe there's a a movie clip that has somebody that's confused. We do that here at the office. We find like little clips to relate to the scenario, and it's just playing that out in a humorous way. So it's like with them not being clear, trying to think of something that would be that's a tough one actually.
I mean, another one could be like paying the invoice on time.
Yes. So I've seen one. I've seen a
Yeah,
videographer where it's like they've only paid for half the project. They've only paid
right.
the the deposit. So it's like when I show them the product, it shows you kind of like packing up your stuff, but then it's like this is what they're getting for just half a deposit and they haven't paid me yet. And it's literally half the video, half the
That's
screen.
funny. Okay.
So you only see half.
Yeah.
So I've seen that as a way. I've seen when you're just that awkward moment for videographers when they're waiting for that last
For the
payment.
payment. Yeah.
And I think you've seen it too, where it's like
Yep.
the person's just panning back and they're still doing the same motion, just
Yep.
waiting for you to pull out that credit card. So I think just doing content around the lifestyle or the profession, because it also educates people who might not be familiar with how you go through things or
Mm,
what the challenges is that you go through. But it's just making it in a lighthearted way, and I think that's one of the best ways to still stay on brand too
mm,
with your content. Is doing things around that
okay.
would be funny.
That's good. Okay, so now let me ask you this question. What about those brands? They don't want to be funny. Like their brand voice is to be serious and to, premium, How does this work for them to be relatable in the sense that, I mean, is relatability always funny or is it's not necessarily always funny?
No, not always funny. It could be testimonies. It could be like if they're not okay with being funny, I mean, hopefully they're okay with being in front of the camera. And if you're
Yeah.
okay in being in front of the camera and speaking, then sharing these stories or sharing like this is the top like this is the worst experience that I've ever had. And storytelling is
Mm,
big right now online, so that could be relatability. Sharing like I know weddings is a big relatability or like a big common thing for videographers. A lot of weddings need videographers. So sharing like your worst wedding experience, like the bride was not on time, the groom was drunk, all the groomsmen they were all over the place, but this is still the finished product, and it shows
mm,
like you just shared that horrific story, but then you show the video and the video's like seamless. It looks like
mm.
nothing was even going on. You know what I mean? But I
That's
think the
good.
story would play to that relatability on top of showcasing your work.
That's good. Okay. Last question, and then we'll move on. Is okay. Well, then, how do people get over the hurdle of, oh, I know I'm talking about this client. I'm not saying their name, but they may see the content and they may know it's a story about them. How do
That's
people get over that?
that's a good question. And I think you just got to be confident and respectful in the same way because these are your clients. And I would share the stories that would shine more light than gloom.
Gotcha.
And the ones with gloom, obviously, like you can take with a grain of salt. If they were rude to you and if they were, like they didn't respect your time or anything like that, still be respectful. Keep their names out of it, but it's still your work. It's still your
Mm,
experience. But I would probably try to shy more or move closer to the positive stories than the gloom. But on the flip side, if you can do it in a respectful way, those those valleys in working with people, those can actually land more because people are for some reason just our minds we're attracted to negativity. So if you start a video with a negative hook like these are the worst clients well, I mean that's still strong like to just say that
yeah.
these are the worst clients, but you can say this was the most interesting client experience that I've ever had. But it's your experience. I
Mm,
think that's the main hurdle is that you understand it's your experience. There's two sides to the coin. They had their experience, you have yours, and you obviously want more work. You don't want to be known for bashing clients or just sharing bad experiences, but it's your experience. So you just have to
yeah.
figure out a respectable way to own it.
That's good. Okay. Okay. So, you've been doing this for a while. Like, you said 2 years intentionally as well. But
Yes.
obviously, before even being intentional, you've probably created content here and there prior to that. So how did you get into creating content?
Well, I started my own my own art business back in 2017, and I realized like I was starting from scratch and I needed to build this business. I mean, I had a website, but it wasn't anything that was going to generate business for me. I was tight on money. Um, I quit my job. I quit my
Mm,
job to do this, and I did it in the wrong fashion. I don't ever recommend just quitting. I felt like God was pushing me in this direction, so I took the leap. But definitely, before you quit your job, make sure the business that you're building is paying for itself,
for sure.
and it outdoes what you're currently doing. But I started creating content that way. I started showcasing my art, doing time lapses, trying to build my brand through content. And that was how I generated business. That's how I generated referrals. Every time I would finish a piece of art for somebody, I would take a picture with them. They would share it on their pages. And then, the personal referrals, all those words would get around and people would start to know what I do and how I could help them. So
Mm,
I saw the power of social media on that scale. And then once the pandemic hit, I kind of was over social media. Like
mm,
all the political stuff, the racial tension,
true.
I kind of backed off it for a little bit.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
Same.
But then even then it was just like everybody was on like at
Right.
that time. We didn't have
Right.
nothing else to do.
Right.
So I still had that urge to want to. I was just tired of the noise. So I just had this conflict and then I just slowly worked my way back into it. But I've always believed in the power of social media.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. And so now from, then 2020 to now where you are, when did you become the creative director at the insurance company? When did you really own in on your method of creating content? And how did you get there?
It was so I started here 2 years ago, and my best friend, he's the owner of this insurance agency. He came to me, and I had been doing his thumbnails for his YouTube channel for a few years prior, a lot of little small graphic projects for him. So he believed in me. He knew that
Mm,
he knew I've been familiar with how social media works and how to push it to how to use it in certain ways. And I didn't really have that much business social media experience prior to working with him. But coming on board with him, he showed me how the agency operates.
mhm.
He's a firm believer in social media as well, and he used it as marketing. That's to me, that's his strength is marketing. And he saw that gift within me, and he pulled it out. And ever since being with him, I've learned so much. I've invested in my own knowledge and in schooling so that I can figure out what works best from different industries, marketing, social media, and yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Like he
Yeah.
played a big part on this whole journey and what I've learned in it.
Gotcha. So just a lot of try and error, just doing your thing and figuring out things as you go. And
That too.
say that again?
Yeah, I said that too. Like a lot of
Yeah.
it was trial. He had a formula for what worked.
Hmm.
But still, and to this day, it's still trial and error. I feel like it's
Right.
always going to be, testing and figuring things out. And once you find something that works, you just double down on it.
Just double down. That's good. I'm definitely gonna take you up on that. Taking my stories and making them relatable because I got a bunch. I got 10 years worth of stories.
And well, there you go. See, you don't even have to use the recent ones.
Right.
Those people
Right.
from back in the day,
From
you
back
can
in the
even use.
day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. That's cool because I do like the relatability aspect, and I've done the format of playing the two sides of the
Yeah.
story and just going back and forth. I love stuff like that, so I will definitely try it out. So as
Before you
your
move
man,
on, you just hit a big point, and
go
that
for it.
can work well for your viewers too. What do you enjoy? And that's
Mm,
a great way to find that source of relatability. It's like,
that's
what
good.
is the type of content you love? What's the type of content that stops you from scrolling? What's the type of content that grabs your attention? And then if you're struggling with figuring out relatability without trying to be funny, that's a great way to figure that out.
That's good. That's actually a good point as well. Is when you're creating content, don't just do the things that you see. Try out different types and then figure out the type of format that you like. Do you like talking head videos? Do you like BTS videos? Do you like B-roll and voiceover? Do you just like voice with a picture? And do you like carousel? Do you like conversations? One of the things that I tried with my podcast, obviously I've been doing podcasts and then conversing with people. I did the direct to camera approach and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. you know. So I did it for like maybe 5, 6 episodes, and I'm like, this is not me, you know. I like conversing with people. Like, sure, I could do direct to camera, like for short form, but when it becomes like a 15, 20 minute video and it just feels like I'm talking to the camera, I'm like, no, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's some people out there that love and enjoy that, and they could do
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yep.
And so finding what works for you as you create content, and I think that's why people say start now, because it takes a couple of years to truly figure out like what you're doing, and then
Yeah.
once you figure that out, things change, and then you have to evolve as well with it, and then figure out the next part of it. So yeah. So you're managing your partner's brand technically. You know, you're
Hmm.
doing the you've reached 100K, millions of views.
Yeah.
You're building a community. You have a corporate role as a creative director. What does your content workflow look like so that you don't burn out?
I'm off on the weekends, so a lot of my content I'll batch create on Saturday. I'll come into Saturday with my ideas, and while I'm at home, I'll make some content there. And then sometimes random appointments with friends, like my Samoan boys. Like we'll just meet up on a weekend every now and then, and we can get like 3 or 4 videos out. And then throughout the week, throughout with my wife, if we have ideas or if something pops up, we'll make them after work. But for the most part, for with a busy schedule, especially if it's a busy week, I try to dedicate that time on Saturday to knock everything out.
Nice. That's good. My day is Wednesdays typically.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would do like one or two podcasts on a Wednesday, and then I'll sit and do some short form content as well. You know, I could do anywhere from 5 to 12, you know, in one
That's
sitting.
clutch.
And
That's clutch.
so, yeah, prior, and then this is when we're talking about content creating, right? So this is a good idea for those that don't have time, you know, batch create. Um, I'm married. I got two girls, two daughters, 4 and 2. They're young, so they need time, you know, and so I can't try to create content every day.
Right.
When it comes to batch recording, you know, being able to take a couple of hours, like it takes me 3 hours to do all this, right? With two podcasts and then 5 to 12 short form, 3 hours, I'm done.
Mhm.
And so I don't have to try to do all that. But something else that I do is being the content.
Mm.
It's not just about creating content, it's also about where are some areas in my life of things that I already do. You know, when I have a client meeting, I'll set up a camera and just push record. And something I may say, you know, would land and it becomes content. You know, when I go out to clients and to jobs, I have someone follow me around to shoot BTS behind the scenes content. And then now that becomes content. So, and then I have my phone when I'm out with my family, you know, I'm doing stuff as well, just showing different areas of my life that becomes content as well. So your life is content. You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to try to create content, you know, like even what you were saying is with the stories that you have, it's all coming from you, you know,
Yeah.
the relatability content that you film and shoot is something that has happened to you or you've heard happen to someone else, and then you film it, you
Yep.
know, and so it's part of your lived experiences,
Hmm.
and that's cool, you know, batching content that way you do not burn out. But how do you continue to tie those ideas to, you know, to be relatable to people? Because at some point, does it become too much? Do you find out people are like, I saw a post that you posted that people are hating on you on a particular topic that you talked
Yeah.
about. You know,
Yeah.
that happens. Does that like say, you know, does that discourage you to not want to do this anymore? Like, what is that mindset like?
Well, what I do recommend everybody does, and this is what I have scheduled for the first week of April, is take a fast. I've taken one since starting this journey, just a full week. But if you're doing this like full time, like most of us are right now within this space, like you need a break from it because yeah, you will get some annoying comments, some people testing you. But I feel like I came into this space. Um, this is kind of off topic, but like I came from leaving a church that kind of like I was people pleasing. I was really people pleasing in this church. And God healed me through the process of, removing myself from this church from that people pleasing. I'm in a state where I'm not just doing things for the approval of people
Right.
and for the attention necessarily. And with my content online, it's like now I know my purpose. I know what I stand for, and I know what I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to please people. I'm
Mm.
trying to serve people. And I
Yeah.
think that was the deliverance that God gave me. Is just like, no, like there's nothing wrong with wanting to make people happy, but not at the expense of your happiness.
Mm.
And it's like serve people, serve them without expecting anything in return, and know who you are. Know who you are on this journey. So when I do get those things, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes they test me, but I get that reminders. Like I know who I am. These people don't know me from an ounce of salt. They can't really judge me and tell me who I really am. So take their opinions with a grain of salt. But a few other creators have let me know to pay attention to some of those comments because through the hate, you can see some real feedback. But to answer your question, kind of went all over the place, but um, you know, I think you have to mentally prepare yourself. Like I'm
Mm.
dedicated to this journey because I've seen what it's done for me, and I know what I want to share with others and help others do because I can see what it can do for them. It's a great opportunity. So I'm dedicated to it.
Yeah.
I don't really have a burnout all the time. I might have
Mm.
just weeks or days where I don't feel like creating. But the benefit of creating a lot of content is that you can repurpose content.
Right.
Or like you said, the B-rolls. Like if I'm not in a creative juice, but maybe I got a lot on my heart or on my mind, just find a B-roll or some images to match that. And there's always a way to express. I think that's my artistic side. Is like there's always a way to express how you feel through content or express who you are through content. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
I
for
feel like I was
sure.
kind of all over the place.
No, that's good, I like that you hit on who you are, because I think at the end of the day, this journey is about becoming, who God has called you to be. It's more than just creating content. It's more than just posting things on social media. It's becoming who God has called you to be and knowing that this is the person He has called you to be. I break it into three framework idea of belief, creates, and influence. And so believe in who God has called you to be to begin. And then from there, believe in yourself. Believe that you could actually accomplish it. And then number two is create something, whatever that is. Video, build a business, go create something with the gifts that God has given you. He believed in you in the first place to give you that. And so go create using those things. And then number three, influence other people to do the same. Influence the people around you to go create something, to believe in themselves, to create, and then to influence. And it just becomes a cycle, right? And that's what we're called to do is use what God has given us to build something. And
Yes.
that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. And now you have a free community, but then you also have a paid community of 20 plus members,
Yep.
and they're paying you to teach them, content creation and being on social media and stuff like that. What is the most common significant moment your students have during your one-on-one coaching calls or during the group coaching? What is that one significant thing that you see, like a light bulb moment for them?
I think the clarity
Mm.
portion. Like a lot of people aren't as clear about what they want to do when they start this journey. They just know that they want to and they see the benefits of it. But helping people get clear on, you know, their messaging or clear on their delivery. Those are like the best light bulb moments. Just giving them ideas or helping them discover ideas through just conversation. That fills me up. I love being
Yeah.
able to help people just walk through their their content journey because
Mm.
sometimes the answers are usually all within them. It's just asking the right questions to help them get clear, and I really enjoy doing that.
Yeah, that's good. Clarity. Clarity is a huge factor, man. It gives you the drive to keep going. Like once you're
Hmm.
clear, like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, then you're able to, put some wind behind that and just
Yeah.
just flourish and go. So your group coaching, you are, with the free membership, how did you strategize to come up with the community? How, like, what was your thought behind it? What was your process? How did you get there to 20 plus paid members for anyone else that wants to create a membership or a community like that?
I was teetering on like making a course
Mm,
or having a community. And Omar, he inspired me on the community aspect of it versus just having a course. But I knew on this journey I learned so much. I wanted to figure out how to package it and give it to others. And I've always had this coaching or this teaching, anointing I feel that's been given to me. So with this community, the school platform, if you guys are familiar, school platform, they now opened up to where you can have a freemium membership, meaning that you got people that can just join in for free, but then you have people that can subscribe to a membership all within the same community. So originally I just structured it as, for paid members. But once they opened that new platform opportunity, I was like, well, this is good because I feel like the freemium can be used as a lead magnet to
mm,
drive people from becoming free members to, seeing what the community provides, maybe having FOMO from seeing the other members in there and wanting to convert and join. But I feel like you asked something else that I didn't cover.
just the process of building it, really.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of just starting it. Just like I really didn't know what to start. I
Mm,
started the community. I knew that I wanted to provide, bi-weekly classes. I wanted it to be a community aspect, meeting on Zoom. So I started with that. And then as, members would share, what they were struggling with or their needs, then that would kind of form the modules that I put in place. And to go back to your point, the clarity aspect. Like a lot of them are struggling with getting clear. So I created a free module for the freemium members, but for everybody, even my premium ones, I taught a class on it for them, but it turned into a module.
mm,
And it's the content clarity playbook to help people get clear on their their journey.
that's good. Okay. So now with having a free community and then a paid community, um, are you gatekeeping with the free community or is it the same information? Like Omar talks about this idea of everything he does in his inner circle is on social, it's on YouTube. It's just the frame of mind of the person that matters the most. So now how do you structure like what you put out for your free community versus your paid community when it
I
comes to
wouldn't
teaching
say it's
them?
gatekeeping. I would definitely say the biggest difference is the calls. It's just really the calls. I share tips and information that I do share with that I've already shared with my paying members.
Yep.
It'll just be in written form. I do share videos with tips online, which I got to do a better job of doing. But it's not necessarily gatekeeping. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
just the access to me is what my premium members are using.
Gotcha.
They can hop on a one-on-one call with me. They can message me asking me these strategies. The pick my brain thing, like a lot of people want to pick your brain. Like
Yeah.
they get that access, and then the community aspect. You get access to these group of people on this call, and just build more relationships with from people with in different industries. But no, I don't think I'm gatekeeping. I believe in that same philosophy. There's really nothing to gatekeep. Even
Mm-hmm.
within this podcast, we're sharing stuff. This
Right.
is some. I believe we both shared some very valuable things on here. So yeah, no gatekeeping. I can't. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to get caught in that.
Yeah, not at all. It's like it's hard to gatekeep, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah,
It's hard, like especially when you love like serving people and helping people. It's like,
yeah,
man, this is the information. It depends on the frame of mind of the person watching. Even this podcast that we're doing, it depends on the frame of mind of the people watching to take action or not.
yep,
It's free content, but if this was behind a paywall and someone watches it, guess what? They'll probably take action faster,
exactly.
but and I share that because it's important for those that are gonna watch this to know that just because you watch a podcast that is free, like take the action of what people are saying. Like there's a
Yeah,
reason you're watching it, So you wanna get on the journey to creating content, better content. You want to really get yourself out there. We don't have to talk about camera gear because it's not about camera gear. We don't have to talk about like all of that. I think it's more about the content and how you structure like what you're saying, from this conversation. If you just take out the fact that personal brand It should be personal to you. It should be your lived experiences. It should be about your passions and who you are and what you're doing, and then take on the fact that it's supposed to like relate to other people. And how do you cross the bridge of relating to business outcome if you have a business? If you are just a creator, how do you take the fact of relating to building your brand and then eventually getting more brand deals? So that's what this conversation has been about. So now with you creating content, building your brand, by the end of this year, 2026, what is one thing that you want the Randall Denson brand to be synonymous with?
Growth,
Mm,
growth and opportunity. With my community, I really just want to help them see results. You know, it's a fresh community, started it last year. So
nice.
just like you mentioned in the podcast, early in the podcast, like this is a long game. So to give these people enough information to stay with me on their journey in the long game, I want to be known for growth. I want to be known for opportunities, meaning shared opportunities. The opportunities that I've learned and acquired for myself, I want to help people acquire opportunities for themselves and open up this new world with this free resource that we have in social media.
It's good. I like that. Yeah, man, growth. That's a good thing. You know, everyone wants to grow. If you're not growing, then
Yeah.
you're stagnant. And no
Yeah.
one wants to be a still stagnant river. You need to
Nah.
be flowing. And that's the thing, actually, that's a good analogy. Is like rivers are flowing for a reason. They're coming in and then something is going out of them. So you're
Yep.
learning and then you're giving it away.
Yep.
Now, when rivers are just in set in place, they die,
Yep.
flies, there's contamination, and then that's when it erodes and it just gets dirty. But the
Yep.
fact that the river is flowing, water is coming in and water is leaving, that's what gives it life.
Yep. I
That's a
love
sermon
that.
right there, bro.
I love that. I
All right.
love that.
So we're gonna wrap up here real quick, but I'm gonna give you like some rapid fire questions.
All right,
So
man.
what's one app or piece of software that you can't live without right now?
CapCut.
CapCut. Okay. All
CapCut.
right.
It's my go-to if I need some detailed editing. You could get a lot done with the apps, but I like
Yeah.
CapCut.
CapCut. Okay. I haven't gotten into CapCut. I'm a Premiere user.
Yeah, you're no, you're the premium member right there. CapCut's for the on the go people like me.
Oh, no, no, no. No, that's good. Okay. So if you had, next question, if you had to start from 0 followers to tomorrow with only a smartphone, what's the first video you'll film?
First video I would film is telling people stop being afraid. Stop having a fear of judgment. People are scared of how others perceive them, and like I said earlier, they don't know you from a grain of salt. So
Mm,
stop being scared of people. And on this journey, you're gonna see a lot of content pumped out. So let's go.
right. That's good. Stop being afraid. Let's go. Take action and move. Because no one is thinking about you at the end of the day. They're
Yeah,
thinking about themselves and their own mess and what they have to do. Like, yes, they may see the content and maybe it's in their minds for like 5 minutes. After that, it's gone.
it's
Like,
gone.
honestly, I don't remember what someone else posted, except it was really good. Like,
Yeah,
right now I'm paying attention to Ryan. He was at the conference, Forward
Ryan
conference.
Leak.
Ryan Leak, man, that man, bro.
Yeah, and he's good.
His content right now is fire, bro. Every
Yeah,
morning when I wake up, that's one of the first things that I see. So,
yeah. No, he's
yeah,
really good. And bite size too.
yeah, yeah. And I love the formats, from on stage to the sitting one, like is breaking
Hmm.
bread with people, like it's genius.
Yeah.
So yeah, really cool. So last question is, where can people find you to join the community or to see what you're building next?
You can find me on Instagram, Randall_Denson. The community is called The Huddle. And yeah, that's what we're building, man. I would love to be a part of your journey. If you're looking for some help, I got you.
Nice, man. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for laying down your wisdom. If there's anything I haven't asked you yet and you want to leave us with just one piece of information, what is that thing?
Yeah, just you know, take that first step. I think that's really it. A lot of us are, like we said at the just to bring it all back. Like, take that first step. Don't worry about it trying to be all perfect. Take that
Mm,
first step and watch this journey unfold.
nice. That's good, man. Well, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Comment, like, share, Leave a comment below as to what you learned today. If it's new information, if it's something that you want to add to the conversation, leave it below. And if you're still watching, DM me the word Creative Fam. I would love to connect with you. All right, see you on the next one. Peace.